find it kind of ironic how Rooster Teeth has had a lot of bad news in 2019, but that's starting to slow down a little bit. Haven't had too much Rooster Teeth news recently. And now, a part of the RWBY fandom seems like they're stepping up to the plate. They want that attention. They want to one-up Rooster Teeth. They want to make themselves seem like the biggest problem that Rooster Teeth has, apparently. Really making the whole fandom look terrible. These people do all the work for us. All we got to do is sit back and watch and report on it, while they, again, do everything for us. You see, I was sent something a moment ago, and you'll see what that entails in this video. So we're about to go over a little document that I made, going over some things from a subreddit. Now, normally I'd go over the full Reddit post and that sort of thing, but I don't want to give this Reddit publicity because that Reddit is so empty. It's a graveyard. It's really an empty Reddit, and it would be counterintuitive for me to promote it indirectly. So I did it a little bit differently this time. I took screenshots of certain highlight things in the post that they made, and let me emphasize something. Take a look at this. Here's a meme that they made. Over on that Reddit, it says, RWBY fans are terrible and Vic is innocent. Boo, get better material. And then, RWBY bad, Vic good. It says that a bunch of times. And then the card, to those who treasured Monty, or Mounty is what they put there. I don't know if that was intentional or not. Maybe it was. Probably, I'm assuming it was. So let me make something very clear. I wouldn't be covering this if they just memed me. I've been having people meme me and my friends like Flash, Ricada, etc., all of 2019. Pretty Ugly Little Liars has made a bunch of memes on us, and I never covered it. NBA made a bunch of memes, or his community at least made a bunch of memes on us. Never covered it. I don't really care. It's free real estate. Although on this Reddit, it's not really because it's that much of a graveyard, but it is what it is. The reason I'm covering this one is because they went way too far with this, man. They went way too far. You're bringing Monty into your little meme? Are you kidding me? How dare you bring Monty into this? I have nothing but respect for Monty Oum, to the point where I actually look up to the guy. His work ethic is quite unheard of, and I've done a lot of due diligence looking into him and his history and the work that he's done, and he's inspirational in a way. And he's also a good teacher, because on one hand, I take notes from his work ethic, but on the other hand, you got to be moderate as well, because it seems like he worked himself to such an extent, man. It's unfortunate sometimes. You see in some of his interviews, he just looks so tired. So I think there's a lot to learn from Monty, and I have a great respect for Monty Oum. And I've never, ever said anything bad about Monty in my life. And you know what? These hypocrites make this meme that you have the audacity to put to those who treasured Monty, like I would go making some bit about Monty. You know what you get now? Now I'm going to make a video on this. And now I'm going to showcase how toxic this fandom has gotten, especially the hypocrisy, man, where you guys have the Monty rule, right? Which says comments and posts that use expressions such as, this isn't what Monty wanted, or Monty is rolling in his grave right now, will be removed on site. So you know that the Monty rule is a thing, and it's a very sensitive topic, but you still choose to use Monty for your meme, saying to those who treasured Monty. This is not a joking matter. The meme, I don't care about that. I care about you bringing Monty into your little dispute. So now let's start going over some of these posts. I screenshotted the more exceptional ones. You're going to find this quite entertaining, probably also quite disgusting. So we start with Fanatic 1. Very interesting fellow. He wrote a lot of paragraphs about me throughout that entire post. Seems quite obsessed. But now I'm getting content out of it. Getting views and subscribers. Who's really going to have the last laugh, man? You with your little meme? The little upvotes that you got on that? And how bad it makes the fandom look because you decided to bring Monty into it? If you left Monty out, let me reiterate, wouldn't be making this video right now. Probably would have thought the meme was actually a little bit funny. But, no, man. That's not how it's going to go down this time. So here's what we got. Fanatic number 1. Talking about the Cleo incident from the other day. Luckily, it turned out not to be a true tragedy, and we still raised money for it. If you haven't seen, check my Twitter out. I'll leave a link in the description. You can see we raised money, and a very generous person in our community also matched our donation, and then some, a little bit extra. We raised over $100 for charity, and it's all been donated to the Ark of the United States. Meanwhile, people like this, well, say disgusting things with libel and blah, 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 blah. So let's take a look at this one. It says, I went to check if he took down that original video, and he didn't. He just made a new one to cover the new details because he's got to get them clicks. the implication there to me sounds like he would have preferred me not to have updated everybody with the new information that apparently Cleo didn't exist and there was no tragedy. That's a weird take, man. Why would you not want me to update that? Oh, you would rather me not update it because it means less clicks for me. That's all you're concerned about is how I'm doing. I think you should be more concerned about how you're doing, because you don't seem like a very self-appreciating individual if you have to go and lie and, go and make memes involved with Monty Oum and stuff like that to bash people, man. Literally what a bully would do. I don't like bullies. Never have. And I very much enjoy calling them out. He then talks about like Vic Mignogna and Funimation. He says that I'm doing the same thing KickVic did before the trial against Funimation. Buddy, you're conveniently leaving out Monica, Jamie, and Ron. And just like in your fanfiction profile, where you have in your bio F. Chris Sabat and Funimation, you conveniently leave out the people who are associated with Rooster Teeth. Because you don't really care about Vic Mignogna, it seems. It seems you are only intending to white knight for Rooster Teeth, downplaying the involvement that they have had with this whole situation. Last thing I'll say about this weirdo, because it's honestly getting boring. He just repeats himself a whole bunch. And let me reiterate, throughout this Reddit thread, he's made like a bunch of paragraphs just like this one. Really repetitive. Can't really come up with other points, I guess. It tends to happen, though, when you make up things. You just kind of forget what you already said. You just end up making up more lies, and you just get caught in the web. Just like this guy right here. So then he says, whatever interest I had in RWBY has been replaced by trying to garner as many hate clicks as possible because that's what drives my sub numbers. That's making a bold assumption that I make all my content on RWBY. I don't. I make a bunch of other content as well. And I also got bored of RWBY in Volume 6, and people who were subbed to me then can attest to it. Way before the Vic Mignogna situation, many, many months before it, I stopped reacting to RWBY, made less RWBY videos. But the big telling thing is that I literally stopped posting reaction videos, like halfway through Volume 6, because it just got not really that interesting to me anymore. Let's move on from this guy, though. To the next Fanatic. Fanatic number 2. Says, hate videos are easy to make and make bank. Back that up, please. Please. Any video I make on like the more legal side of this case makes way more than any RWBY video I make, because finance and mortgage ads and legal ads actually pay good CPM. RWBY videos, Rooster Teeth videos, they don't really make that much money. You have no idea what you're talking about. He then says that, I don't know, I really don't know what he's getting at there. Says the worst part, he wants RWBY fans to be mad at him. That gives him views from haters and just think hate is fun. And it also gives him views from the fans that try to defend themselves. It's funny, really. Calls out Rooster Teeth, sells out, and RWBY fans toxic. His channel is only hatred and toxicity for the sake of money. Again, these people are really concerned about me. They're so concerned about me. And they're always concerned about money. These are probably the same kind of people who would, want to take your money from you and all kinds of free stuff. They don't want to work for anything. Just want to take your money. That's why they're so concerned about other people's money. Moving on, man. So this next Fanatic, this one's actually really funny. I know who this guy is on Twitter. Apparently he's also in this little subreddit, hiding there in his little safe space. He got called out on Twitter, stopped replying on Twitter, and then ran to Reddit. That's great. That's great. So here's the story with this one before we read the Reddit post about this Fanatic. So on Twitter, he posted a clip of me where I said that I got the emails and I didn't make a video on the emails because they didn't seem credible. And then this weirdo said, yet he did. But he links this tweet where I say, there is news today of a young woman, Cleo, who allegedly took her life over harassment from the RWBY community. Here's the blog discussing what occurred. So he was misrepresenting that clip. In this clip, I said I didn't make a update on the emails. And this is something from before I even had the emails. So he lied here. My girl Ruki Joestar, calls him out. And I even call him out here. And I say, in the clip, I was very skeptical about these emails. The pic you posted has no emails. You do know what an email looks like, right? Nice work playing yourself, though. As usual, the outrage mob does my work for me. It's too easy. Hey, that sounds familiar. It's true, man. It's true. That's what happens. This weirdo stopped replying then. I guess he ran to Reddit to make this post. So this clown then just tries to lie to make me look bad, says I made money on the situation, downplaying the fact that all of it went to charity, and that I had no choice to donate because people were asking for receipts. Yeah, man, what a joke that is. Who cares about you asking for receipts? That doesn't affect me donating. I donate because it's the right thing to do, because I'm not a scumbag like you. We're kind of getting towards the end of this. I'm going to show you some more examples. And again, this is just a few of the more exceptional posts there, although that whole subreddit's full of exceptional individuals. Pretty funny. Maybe I'll go back there sometime for some more content. Might as well. I mean, why not? They're going to post stuff there anyways. Might as well get content out of it. Bet they don't like that at all. Bet they hate it. Anyways, so there was actually some reasonable people there on the subreddit. And just like what happens on Reddit a lot of the times, the reasonable people who are not insane get downvoted. So this reasonable person writes, tell me where the article was one. If it is ANN, I'm not bothering with anime's equivalent to CNN, who are known for being disingenuous liars. The context there is, of course, these people started bringing up Vic and started arguing about Vic and why Vic is guilty, blah, 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 blah. So the person saying that ANN's bad gets downvoted. No surprise. And that same person also writes this and gets downvoted even more, -7. So hey, if you're watching this video, whoever you are who made this thing, shouts out to you for being a reasonable and kind individual. Not like these toxic people who only care about getting free stuff for themselves and taking a dump on anyone else, hating on them, bullying other people. Those people are sick. So this reasonable person writes, the fandom in a nutshell doesn't bother to ignore a YouTuber when criticizing the show, be it fairly or possibly unfairly, getting into arguments about why Bumblebee is the best ship, and those that don't like it can go suck a you-know-what, or force it down a new fan's throat if they feel uncomfortable with said ship, that or nuking the heck out of non-shippers to like said ship till they leave the fandom and give up. Believe that absolutely nothing is wrong with Rooster Teeth at all, and that every piece of new content is godsend. Believes that Vic is a monster when he's not. Can't handle memes or stories that don't support the status quo of the fandom. Must I go on? -7 downvotes. And then the Fanatic #1, the same guy, Fanatic #1, the really, really weird one, says, why are you still here? Also, spell check, for the love of God, use it. Why are you still here? Yes, the person who disagrees with you, why are they still there? That's a place only for a safe space where people have to, have their little hug box. You can't have any dissenting opinion. You got to act in line, have the same script. Anyone out of line, you got to be like, why are you here? We're all the same. We all have the same points, but you don't. You don't belong here. It's such a joke, man. And then finally, we actually had one other reasonable person turning the tide somehow. I guess some people got so sick of Fanatic #1, they were even starting to get out of line. Because the other people, while they're fanatics, they weren't as crazy as this guy. So it's kind of the inverse. Fanatic 1 was just getting so crazy, he made the other people look normal, So this person writes, bruh, half the memes on here are about how toxic the fandom is. For every post that criticizes the show, there are a dozen talking about how the community does not respond well to criticism. I get that being contrarian requires a certain level of disassociation from the crowd of people who both victimize and antagonize. The most critical are the same people. So pointing out little irony there. And, there you go. That's the only things I want to show here. I don't want to spend all day on this, but what a joke, man. What a joke this is. And a very disgusting cesspool where people will actually use Monty for their memes and put words in people's mouth like that. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, you guys gave me a nice video. And I know you hate this part. It even got over the 10-minute mark. Wow. Imagine that. I appreciate it. Thank you for that thread. It really worked out well for me. I want to give a big thanks to Ishra, Coden X, the Lancaster Kid, Dark Raven, Wood, Super Speed 21YT, and Skelly Kitty for promoting that earlier Azure Lane video. Thank you guys very much. Hope you all also enjoyed this one. Cringy as it is, man. Again, wouldn't have covered this if they would have just left the good man alone, but they didn't. So there you go. That's all I got on this one, though. If you guys want to support the channel more directly, well, consider leaving a like, commenting down below, subscribing if you're not, double checking that you are, and if you want to take it a bit further, of course, sharing the video and checking out the Teespring or Patreon link is also an option. Appreciate that, and I'll see you next time.